Hi, this is Pianki Zimmerman, aka the Nappy Ninja, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys about some shadowboxing techniques. So before we delve into that, I'm going to show you some different stance positions for different martial arts. Your stance is your basic foundation for everything, and if you have a poor stance, then you're going to have poor fighting. And so I'll start with the boxing stance. So for our boxing stance, we usually have a more narrower stance, where it's going to be wide, long wides against your opponent, okay? So you're gonna have both knees bent. You wanna be roughly on your toes, but you can have your back foot or your front foot really flat. You just have to make sure that one of them is engaged so you can fire off. Also, you're not worried about checking kicks, so you can actually put a lot of your weight on your front leg, and you can keep your hands up here. What I like to do is like to make sure your fingers can touch your hairline, like you're smooth, right? So if my fingers can touch my hairline, I can protect my face a lot easier. I'm going to keep my elbows down to protect my ribs, okay, close to my body. Now, there's different hand positions you can have with boxing. You can be a little bit longer, or you can be a little bit smaller. You know, you have your Philly shell. You have different types of positions there. But for the most part, for your stance, you're going to be long here and tight up here. Okay, so for your Muay Thai stance, it's going to be similar to boxing, but now we have to worry about kicks. So because we're worrying about kicks, and also the Muay Thai stance doesn't have much movement to it. It's got movement, but the rhythm is a little bit slower. So they're not really dashing about a whole bunch. They kind of like waltz and march each other down. So that way we can be a little bit tighter together with our legs. We're going to put our weight on our back legs, and we can lift our front leg for those checks and check those kicks. Okay. Also to throw those kicks. And so our hands can be tight, but a lot of times in Muay Thai they like to have one hand that's out forward for distancing purposes. So they'll be here, right? Distance, and they use their hands a little bit, but their kicks are their main thing in Muay Thai. So they're always preparing for those big kicks. Okay. So you have wrestling, and for wrestling, you're going to have more of a box type of stance here. You want to squat down nice and low, your hands up forward, and you're going to kind of basically be ready to go in for that shot, or actually just sprawl and sit out, and you want to be able to get that total 360 motion, okay? So you're going to be nice and low. And there's no striking in wrestling, so you don't have to worry about that, but if you want to incorporate it to MMA, that's where we get to our next stance. So for our mixed martial arts, you're kind of putting them all together. So you're going to have your hands up tight, high here. You're going to have your legs almost in that kind of like boxing position, but you're going to be low, really, really low, kind of like with wrestling. And for Muay Thai, I like to pull my weight a little bit back, or be able to shift from back and forth. Okay, if you have all your weight in your front leg in MMA, if this gets kicked out or it can be grabbed, you're done. You're going to be tripped on the floor, and then you got to fight for off your back. All right, so you're going to be long stance, nice and low. Shift your weight, hands up high. Keep your elbows inside. You can put that one hand out for measuring as well. But just notice if you keep your hands too far out, it's easy to get looping punches to come in at the jaw. So you want to have at least one nice and tight up here to protect yourself. Be able to touch your hairline, protect your ribs, make sure you're smooth sailing, okay? Today with our stance work and our shadow boxing. So as we are in our stance, it's important that when we move, we want two specific movements with our legs, okay? We're going to have our neutral position and our open position, okay? Very rarely are we going to have a closed one. What I mean by that is, when we're in our stance, okay, nice and wide and low, I have my heels off the ground. All right, so I'm going to open up by pushing off my back foot, and I'm going to come forward with this one. I'm going to close back into a neutral stance, okay? I don't want to actually open up and then come too close. If I come too close now, I'm susceptible for getting tripped, getting hit with a leg kick that's going to take both my legs out and I'll fall, or getting taken down, okay? So I'm going to keep this nice and wide, and I open up, and I come back to a neutral position. Now the same thing for going backwards. I'm going to push off my front leg, open up, back one, and come back to a neutral position, okay? I do not want to come here and be too close in, because now I'm vulnerable, right? So moving left and right, it's the same thing. I'm going to push off of the left foot if I'm going to go to my right. So I'm going to open up and come back to my neutral position. Going this side, I'm going to open up, pushing off of this right foot, and coming back to my neutral position, okay? nice and low. I don't want to come and cross over unless I'm doing a dragon stance from Kung Fu, right? If I come too far over this way, I have no balance. If you push me, I'm going to fall, okay? So I want to make sure that I always have balance in my movement, going left, right, forward, and backwards, right? I'm always in that good, nice and wide stance. I'm my hands up, elbows down. I'm keeping my chin tucked down a little bit to make sure I don't get in the chin, because that's not fun. So the other aspect of moving, not only kind of moving in a plus sign, but being able to turn, okay? So what we're gonna do, instead of just moving left and right, and up and back, we're gonna move at an angle. So if my opponent's in front of me, I wanna be off my opponent's center line, because that's where danger is. So I'm gonna step slightly to the left to get here by pushing off this back foot, and then I'm gonna swing this back foot around. I'm still facing my opponent, but I'm off that center line, okay? The same thing in the other direction. If I wanna come to this side instead, I'm gonna push off this foot, open up, turning this back foot to angle off towards my opponent, and then shift this one back in, okay? So, I can actually utilize this in my shadowboxing just by moving. And movement is actually the most important part of shadowboxing, movement and good stance. Because if you don't have good movement, you don't have good stance, you're gonna have really bad offense and really bad defense. So again, you're here, moving forward and back, left and right, turn, turn. Okay. So if you can just do this for like 5 minutes of just stepping alone, keeping a good stance and moving, it's gonna keep you really, really sharp. All right, so now that we have our stance and our movement down, I'm going to give you guys just 2 basic techniques to use, all right? So for more advanced people, you can throw everything out there. You know, you're in your stance, you can throw your punches, your hooks, your knees, your kicks, you know, throw in some sprawls, throw in a shoot, you know, come in, jab, jab, shoot, reshoot, whatever. But if you're just beginning, right, I want you to focus on 2 techniques. 2 techniques, right? So we have our jab and our cross, okay? Our jab is our 1, and our cross is our 2, all right? So it's gonna look like from the side here. I'm in my MMA stance, right? I'm gonna drag all my energy from the ground from my toes, okay? I'm gonna pull it up from the ground, I'm gonna twist my hips, I'm gonna extend my hand as I'm extending out here, okay? Now, you can do that while stepping, or you can do that in place. So in place, it's just here, I'm going to just twist by rotating on, pivoting on my toes here, right? And it's extending. At the maximum reach of my twist is when my hand is going to reach its maximum distance. And I'm going to come back to my stance, okay? For 2, it's going to be from this foot. I'm going to push and turn in, drop this knee forward. I'm going to shift my weight to my left side totally, right? So I'm shifting over here, boom. As soon as I get to my maximum lock here, that's when I reach my maximum distance on my 2, right? Keep my shoulder up, my chin down, and then I'm gonna bring it back, okay? So I'm here, I have my 1, I have my 2. 1, 2. I wanna keep my elbows in and down as well as I'm throwing my punches. If I bring them out here, I'm gonna be using different muscles that I shouldn't be using to gather power for my punch, right? That's gonna do damage to my shoulders over time. Keep your elbows inside, have your energy come from your toes and from your hips. So I'm here, you're punching from the hip, bow, and you're bringing it back, right? My cross, same thing, bow, and bring it back. If I come up here, now it's my shoulder and my chest. It's like I'm trying to bench press a punch. It's not how punches work. You can bench press all the weight you want. You can still have a weak punch after that. But I can never bench press a day in my life, right? But if I know how to throw a punch correctly, I can have the strongest punch if I know how to gather the energy correctly. So I'm going to gather from the ground, twisting, pivoting on my toes, right? And twisting my hips with it. And I'm just letting it fly. I'm not flexing, I'm not pushing on my shoulders. I'm just letting it go out and coming back. Remember, everything is nice and slow. So I'm in my stance. 1, 2. 1, 2. And then when I step with it, I'm going to step and twist. When I land on the ground, that's when my hand is extended out all the way, right? And I can pull it back, or I can step and then come back into my neutral stance, okay? So So with my 2, it's going to look like this. Step, and then pull this one in. It's already in my neutral stance, all right? So I have 1, and what I want you to do is just kind of walk around, turn. Imagine you have, you know, an imaginary target, or you're fighting someone, right? You're just going to focus on keeping that jab out there, right? Moving back and forth, side to side, putting spin on it. Just get that jab pumping, and then throw that 2 in there. Bow. 1, 1, 1, 2. Nice and slow, nice and slow. 2. Because you want to feel your body getting used to those motions. And the slower you're moving, the more you're building those muscle memory motions for throwing your proper punch, right? Getting your proper movement, okay? So imagine that you're fighting someone, or someone's holding mitts for you, and you're just hitting the mitts, hitting the mitts, hitting the mitts. Now, for more experienced martial artists, you're going to imagine there's another fighter trying to fight you, okay? So you're going to be in your stance. I have someone in front of me who's trying to hurt me. So you're going to use your defensive techniques, your checks. Someone tries to go into a shadow, and you're going to use a sprawl. Turn out to the side, re-attack, leg kicks, whatever kind of techniques you have that you know how to use. We're not doing it for speed, we're doing it for form and fluidity. If you like our instructional videos, please like and subscribe, because if you don't, you're probably a punk. Just kidding. But yeah, peace.